You wake up. Same bed, same ceiling, same thoughts flooding in before your eyes even open. You go through the motions: coffee, shower, the drive to work on autopilot, same people, same conversations, same frustrations. And at the end of the day, you collapse into bed and think, why hasn't anything changed? Here's what nobody tells you. You are the reason. Let me ask you something. How many times have you promised yourself you'd change? That this year would be different, that you'd finally become the person you know you're capable of being. And yet, here you are. Same patterns, same results, same life. But here's the kicker. It's not because you're broken. It's not because you lack willpower or discipline or motivation. It's because you're trapped by the very environment you've built around yourself. Trapped by your own body. Trapped by the thoughts you think every single day. You see, every morning you wake up, you think about your problems, your bills, your stress, your past, and those thoughts trigger the same emotions: frustration, worry, guilt, resentment. Those emotions drive the same behaviors, and those behaviors create the same experiences, and then those experiences reinforce the original thoughts. You're living in a loop, a quantum loop, and most people spend their entire lives running on this wheel without ever realizing they're the ones spinning it. So here's my question for you. Are you ready to step off? Because what I'm about to show you isn't just theory. This is the science of why you're stuck, and more importantly, how to break free. Here's what no one wants to hear. The reason your life hasn't changed is because you haven't changed. I know, that sounds harsh, but stay with me. Let me explain this from a neuroscientific perspective. Your brain is nothing more than a record of the past. Every person you've met, every place you've been, every experience you've had, your brain has wired itself around those memories. And here's where it gets interesting. When you wake up in the morning and you see the same people, go to the same places, do the same things at the same time, you're activating the same neural circuits. You're literally hardwiring your brain to the past. You see your partner, your brain fires the same neural networks from every interaction you've ever had with them. You drive to work on the same route, same neurons fire. You sit at the same desk, drink coffee from the same mug, have the same thoughts about your boss, same neural patterns over and over again. This is called Hebbian learning. Neurons that fire together, wire together, and when you repeat the same thoughts, behaviors, and emotions every single day, those neural connections become so strong, so automatic that they become you. Your personality becomes hardwired. Your habits become your habitat, and your habitat becomes your prison. But here's the paradox that stops most people. You keep thinking the same thoughts, performing the same actions, feeling the same emotions, and you expect a different result. That's the definition of insanity. You can't think in the past and create a new future. You can't use the same mind that created your current reality to create a different one. It's impossible because, and this is critical, when you're thinking from your past, you can only create more past. Your past becomes your future. The familiar becomes your destiny. So you wake up tomorrow, and what's the first thing you do? You think about your problems. The moment you start thinking about your problems, you're thinking in the past, because your problems are memories. And the moment you feel the emotions of your problems, you're in the past. And your body? Your body is so conditioned to be the mind of guilt, the mind of suffering, the mind of worry, that it's literally living in the past. So here's the real question. If your environment is controlling your thinking, and your thinking is creating the same feelings, and those feelings are driving the same behaviors, how do you ever change? The answer is both simple and uncomfortable. You have to become greater than your environment, greater than your body, greater than time itself, and almost nobody does it because it requires you to become someone you've never been before. Are you starting to see the trap? But what if I told you something radical? What if I told you that you can change by thought alone? Now, if you watched yesterday's video on the quantum you already know that you're not just a physical body. You're consciousness. You're the observer collapsing infinite possibilities into form. You understand that at the quantum level, you have the power to create your reality. But here's the question no one asks. If you have that power, why haven't you used it yet? Why are you still stuck? Why does knowing all of this still not change anything? That's what we're going to unpack today. Not by waiting for your circumstances to shift, not by hoping something external will save you, but by thought alone. I know that sounds too simple, too good to be true, but here's the thing. Every great person in history has done exactly this. They thought greater than their circumstances. They imagined a future before it existed, and they became that future. This isn't mysticism. This isn't wishful thinking. This is quantum physics. This is neuroscience. This is how reality actually works. So let me show you exactly what's happening beneath the surface of your awareness. You are living inside a quantum field right now. A field of infinite possibility. A field that responds not to your effort, but to your energy. Not to your actions, but to your alignment. And here's what makes this so elegant. The quantum field doesn't care about your past. It doesn't know who you were yesterday. It only responds to who you are being right now. Let me break down the science. In quantum mechanics, there's something called the observer effect. It means that the act of observing, of focusing your attention, literally collapses the wave of probability into a particle of reality. Your focus, your attention, your awareness, they are the sculptors of your experience. But here's where most people get it wrong. They think focusing on what they want is enough. But the quantum field doesn't respond to thought alone. It responds to the combination of clear intention and elevated emotion. In other words, you have to think the thought and feel the feeling of your future before it happens. You have to become it mentally and emotionally first. Dr. Joe Dispenza's research shows this beautifully. When you combine a clear intention with an elevated emotion, gratitude, love, joy, inspiration, you create what's called coherence. Your brain and heart sync up. Your energy becomes organized, focused, and powerful. And when you reach that state of coherence, you send a signal into the quantum field and the field responds, not because it's magic, but because you've changed your electromagnetic signature. You've changed your vibration, and the field can only give you what matches your frequency. This is why the old paradigm of work harder, push more, force it to happen doesn't work for manifestation. Because that energy is rooted in lack, in separation, in I don't have it yet. And the field reflects that back to you. More lack, more separation, more waiting. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds great in theory, but what about my bills? What about my responsibilities? What about the reality I'm living in right now? I get it. I've been there. You're thinking, how can I think my way out of this when my environment is screaming at me to stay the same? And that's exactly the point. That's the test. Can you be greater than your circumstances? Can you think beyond what your senses are telling you? Can you believe in a future you can't yet see? Because here's the truth. Your current reality is nothing more than the residue of your past thinking. It's old news. It's the outcome of who you used to be. The real question is, who are you becoming? Let me give you an example. Think about the last time something came to you effortlessly. Maybe it was a relationship, a job opportunity, an idea that just clicked. You weren't forcing it. You weren't stressed about it. You were just aligned. That's the quantum field delivering. That's what happens when you get out of your own way. And here's what's stunning. The people who've mastered this, the ones who create extraordinary lives, they're not working harder than you. They're not smarter. They're not luckier. They've simply learned to think from the future instead of the past. They've learned to become the person they want to be before the evidence shows up. And if they can do it, so can you. Ready to go deeper? Let's talk about the real traps keeping you stuck. The first trap is your addiction to your emotions. Yes, addiction, because that's what it is. You've been feeling the same way for so long that your body has become chemically addicted to those feelings. Stress, anxiety, guilt, resentment, these aren't just emotions, they're drugs, and your body craves them. When you wake up and you feel that familiar anxiety, that's your body asking for its fix. When you replay that argument from last week and feel that surge of anger, that's your body getting its dose. And here's what's insane. You think you want to change, but your body is literally programmed to keep you the same. Because change means withdrawal, and withdrawal is uncomfortable. So you justify it, you rationalize it, you tell yourself stories about why you have the right to feel this way, and every time you do, you strengthen the addiction. The second trap is your environment, and this one's sneaky, because your environment isn't just your physical space, it's the people you spend time with, the media you consume, the conversations you have, the routines you follow. Every single input is programming you, conditioning you, reinforcing who you think you are. You want to change? You can't keep living in the same environment and expect to become someone new. It's like trying to quit smoking while hanging out at a bar with your smoking buddies. The environment wins, every time. The third trap, and this is the big one, is your identity, who you believe yourself to be. You've spent your entire life building an identity. I'm this kind of person. I come from this kind of background. I'm good at this, bad at that. I'm an introvert. I'm not a morning person. I'm not creative. I'm not lucky. These aren't truths. These are stories. And you've told them so many times that you've wired them into your biology. But here's the problem. Your identity determines what you think is possible. It determines what actions you take. It determines what opportunities you even see. If you believe you're not the kind of person who succeeds, guess what? You won't. Not because you can't, but because you won't even try. Your identity will sabotage you before you get started. So if you want to change your life, you have to be willing to lose your mind, literally. You have to be willing to let go of the person you've been, the stories, the identity, the familiar self, and step into the unknown. And that terrifies most people, because the unknown is uncertain, it's uncomfortable, it's unpredictable. But here's the secret. The unknown is also where all possibility lives. It's the quantum field, it's where miracles happen, it's where new realities are born, and you can't create a new life from the known. You can only do it by venturing into the unknown and becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable. So how do you actually do this? How do you break free from these traps? You practice every single day. You start with meditation, not the relaxation kind, the transformation kind. You sit down, close your eyes, and you practice getting beyond your body, beyond your environment, beyond time. You practice becoming pure consciousness, pure awareness, pure potential, and from that place of no thing, you begin to create. You decide who you want to be, not what you want to have or do, but who you want to be. Do you want to be confident, calm, joyful, abundant, powerful, clear? And then, this is the key, you rehearse it mentally, emotionally. You imagine yourself being that person. You feel what it feels like to be that person. You think the thoughts that person would think. You see through their eyes. And when you do this every day, something extraordinary happens. Your brain starts to change. New neural circuits form. Old patterns weaken. Your biology begins to reorganize around this new self. You're literally becoming someone new, at a biological level. And then, you take that new self into your day. You practice being that person when you're standing in line at the grocery store, when you're stuck in traffic, when someone cuts you off or challenges you or tests your patience. You practice, over and over again, until the new self becomes more familiar than the old self, until the new self becomes automatic, until the new self becomes you. This is the path. It's simple, but it's not easy, because it requires you to go against everything your body, your environment, and your identity are telling you. It requires you to have more belief in the invisible than the visible, more faith in the unknown than the known, more commitment to the future than attachment to the past. And most people give up. They do the work for a day, a week, maybe a month, and then they quit, because they don't see results fast enough, because it feels too hard, because the old self pulls them back. But the ones who stick with it, the ones who refuse to quit, they become unstoppable. They become proof. They become walking, breathing examples of what's possible. And that's the invitation. That's the challenge. Are you willing to be one of those people? Let's get into the mechanics. Because when you understand how this actually works, it becomes easier to do. Your thoughts create your reality, but not in the way most people think. It's not about positive thinking. It's not about affirmations in the mirror. It's about changing your state of being. Here's how it works. Every thought you think produces a chemical in your brain. That chemical is called a neuropeptide, and that neuropeptide signals your body to feel a certain way. When you think a thought of gratitude, your brain produces chemicals that make you feel grateful. When you think a thought of fear, your brain produces chemicals that make you feel afraid. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Your body has receptors for these chemicals on the outside of every cell. And over time, when you keep thinking the same thoughts and feeling the same feelings, those receptors become desensitized. So you need more of the chemical to feel the same feeling. Just like a drug addict needs more of the drug to get the same high. This is why you can get addicted to negativity, to drama, to stress, because your body is literally craving the chemicals that those emotions produce. And here's the kicker. When you try to think positive thoughts, but your body is chemically addicted to negative emotions, there's a conflict. Your mind says one thing, but your body says another, and the body almost always wins because your body has become the mind. It's memorized the emotion. It's become the emotion. So if you want to change, you can't just change your thoughts. You have to change your feelings. You have to recondition your body to a new mind. And that's where meditation comes in. Because meditation allows you to get beyond the analytical mind, the part of you that's always thinking, analyzing, worrying, planning, and into the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is where all your programs live, all your automatic behaviors, all your habits, all your emotional reactions. And when you can get into the subconscious through meditation, you can start to rewrite those programs. But here's what most people don't understand. You can't rewrite those programs by thinking about them. You have to feel your way into them. You have to generate the emotion of your future before it happens. You have to feel gratitude before you have something to be grateful for. You have to feel abundant before you have abundance. You have to feel worthy before you see evidence of your worth. And when you do that, when you change your emotional state without any external reason, you're teaching your body chemically to understand what that future feels like. Your body starts to believe it's already living in that future. And when your body believes it, your brain falls in line. Your thoughts change. Your behaviors change. Your energy changes. And then the quantum field responds. Because here's the thing, the quantum field isn't just out there, it's everywhere. It's in you, around you, through you. You're swimming in it right now, and it's constantly reading your energy, your electromagnetic signature, the combination of your thoughts and feelings. When your thoughts and feelings are incoherent, when you're thinking one thing but feeling another, you send a confused signal into the field, and the field gives you confused results. But when your thoughts and feelings are coherent, when they're aligned, synchronized, in harmony, you send a clear, powerful signal, and the field responds with clarity. This is what Dr. Joe Dispenza calls becoming supernatural. It's when you move beyond your senses, beyond your environment, beyond your body, and you start operating from a higher level of consciousness. You're no longer at the mercy of your external world. You're creating from within. And when you do, you become a magnet for that reality. Now let's tie it all together. Because this is where it gets really profound. Your thoughts are the language of the brain. Your feelings are the language of the body. And when you combine a clear thought with an elevated emotion, you create a new state of being. That state of being broadcasts a new electromagnetic signature into the quantum field. And the field, which is nothing but energy, frequency, and information, responds by matching that signature with corresponding experiences in your reality. This is the loop. Thought creates feeling. Feeling creates state. State creates signal. Signal creates reality. And reality reinforces the thought. Most people are stuck in the old loop. Old thoughts, old feelings, old state, old signal, old reality, over and over again. But when you interrupt that loop, when you choose new thoughts, generate new feelings, embody a new state, you send a new signal. And the field has no choice but to respond. You start to see synchronicities, opportunities, people showing up at the right time, resources appearing out of nowhere, doors opening that were previously closed. And here's the beautiful part. The more you practice this, the less effort it takes. The more you embody the energy of your future, the more your future starts to come to you. You stop chasing. You stop forcing. You stop struggling. You become the attractor, the magnet, the living embodiment of what you desire. And this is the quantum leap. This is the shift from doing to being, from effort to alignment, from separation to co-creation. You're no longer trying to make something happen. You're allowing it to happen through you. You're no longer a victim of your environment. You're the creator of your reality. You're no longer trapped by your past. You're liberated by your future. And this, my friend, is what it means to truly change, not to improve, not to fix, but to transform, to become someone entirely new. So here's my question for you, and I want you to really sit with this. Who have you been being? Not who do you want to be, but who have you actually been? When you wake up, what's the first thought you think? What's the first emotion you feel? Are you grateful, or are you already running through the list of problems? When you look in the mirror, what do you say to yourself? Are you encouraging or critical? When you interact with the people in your life, are you present, or are you replaying the past, predicting the future, distracted by the noise in your head? Be honest, because awareness is the first step. You can't change what you're not aware of. And once you see it, once you really see the patterns, the loops, the automatic programs running your life, you can't unsee it. And that's when the real work begins, the work of choosing, the work of interrupting, the work of becoming. It's not easy. I won't lie to you. It takes courage to face yourself, to admit that the person you've been isn't the person you want to be, to let go of the familiar even when it's painful because it's all you've ever known. But here's what I know. You wouldn't be here reading this, listening to this if you weren't ready. Some part of you, the part that's greater than your conditioning, greater than your fear, greater than your past, is calling you forward. And that part? That's the real you. That's the you that's been waiting to emerge. That's the you that knows, deeply knows, that a different life is possible. So the question is, are you ready to answer the call? Are you ready to step into the unknown and become? Because your future self is waiting, and they're magnificent. Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow morning, but something's different. You don't feel the weight of yesterday. You don't feel the anxiety about tomorrow. You feel freed. You feel light, clear, aligned. You move through your day with ease, not because everything is perfect, but because you're no longer reacting, you're creating. You make decisions from inspiration, not desperation. You respond to life from a place of power, not fear. You show up as the person you've always wanted to be, not because you have all the answers, but because you trust yourself. This isn't fantasy. This is available to you right now, today, in this moment. All you have to do is choose it. Choose to think differently, choose to feel differently, choose to be differently, and when you do, everything changes. So let me give you something practical to start with. Just one thing. One practice you can do today that will begin to shift everything. Tomorrow morning, before you check your phone, before you get out of bed, before you let the world in, take 5 minutes, just 5 minutes. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, who do I want to be today? Not what do I need to do, but who do I want to be? Do I want to be stressed or calm? Do I want to be reactive or centered? Do I want to be the victim or the creator? And then generate that feeling. Don't wait for something to happen to feel it. Create it right now, in your body, in your heart. That's it. That's the practice. 5 minutes of choosing who you're becoming before the day chooses for you. Try it and watch what happens. If you felt something shift while reading this, if something resonated, sparked, or stirred something inside you, then you're part of this movement, this community of people who refuse to settle, who refuse to accept that life just happens to them. We are the ones who know that we are the creators, the architects, the quantum leapers. And if you want to go deeper, if you want to continue this journey, hit that subscribe button. Because I'm going to be sharing the exact tools, techniques, and insights that will help you master this. Drop one word in the comments, just one word that captures how you're feeling right now. Let me know you're here. Let me know you're ready. Because when we come together, when we support each other in this work, the field amplifies. We become stronger. We rise faster. This is just the beginning. I want to leave you with this. To create a new personal reality, a new life, we must create a new personality. We must become someone else, not because who we are isn't enough, but because who we're capable of becoming is so much greater. You are not trapped by your environment. You never were. You're only trapped by the belief that you are. And the moment you let that belief go, the moment you step into the knowing that you are the creator, the quantum field is responding to you and your future is in your hands. Everything shifts. So go, create, become, and remember the universe isn't testing you, it's supporting you. Now, remember what I told you yesterday. You are the quantum observer. You have the power to collapse infinite possibilities into form. That truth hasn't changed. But today, you've learned why that power hasn't been working. Because your environment has been pulling you back, your body has been addicted to the past, your thoughts have been running on autopilot. So here's the full picture. Yesterday, you learned who you are at the deepest level. Today, you learned why you've been trapped. And tomorrow? Tomorrow, I'm going to show you the one thing keeping you trapped. And it's not your environment, it's not your habits, it's something deeper. Something chemical. And once you understand it, everything changes. Until then, be greater than you've ever been. I'll see you tomorrow.